Hey guys, my name is Nogan and welcome to my C++ series. So in today's video we're going to be focusing on continuing using classes with data structures, like for example arrays. But in today's video we'll be using classes with pointers and how to declare members or variables in the class scope based on pointers, and also how to use them eventually with the constructor and destructor. So it's going to find like a proper implementation or use case of these pointers. Now, if I go to the main .cpp file here, eventually here, I'm gonna guess right now you just include a few basic operations of like how a C++ program is. Just include these. So if you guys didn't watch the previous video, we focus on using arrays with classes and see like how you define an array. So in today's video, it's focusing on using now pointers with classes. Awesome. Now everything now set up eventually from this basic standard program structure of C++. Now, why you want to use like pointers with classes? Now, pointers can be used with classes in C++ in various ways. So, such as creating pointers to an object, dynamic memory allocation of objects, and using pointers as a class member. So, in the upcoming videos also right now, I'll be focusing also on dynamic memory allocation, of course, in C++ with classes. But in terms of today's specification, I use like how classes can be utilized in a class scope by definition. Now, outside the main function here, I'm going to define now a class. Let me just say student. Like a public member here, variable, will be int value. Now I'm going to declare now a constructor here. Now I'm going to just the constructor is being defined with the same name as the class name, so the student again. Now this constructor will take a parameter, like v. Okay. Initialize this variable with v. Awesome. So after this, eventually here, in the main function here, I'll now declare an object of a class named student. Student again. The class name will be my student. Change my student here. So if it's my student, eventually now I'll make it to a pointer. So let's just make this into a pointer. Let's say my student PTR. Awesome. PTR here stands for pointer. We have an error here. Okay. Let's also include now here by default a default constructor. Let's include a public member variable here. Let's say student. Awesome. So we have two constructors here. One is a default constructor, which means if this constructor doesn't take any parameters or if not being defined in a class scope here, by definition, this default constructor will take place eventually. It will be executed now in the class scope of student. Now in the main function here, so we have a object called my student PTR. PTR here stands for pointer. Now also very important, you have to also include now the asterisk here to signify this is now eventually here a class my student PTR pointer, which means this object now is of type pointer. So it's just a pointer object eventually. So after this, I'm gonna say again, let's say my let me just name it into, but this is too long, so let me just make it into PTR, so which is much more easier. I just call it PTR. Awesome. So after this, I'm gonna say PTR again. Yeah, PTR. I'm going to initialize now this pointer using the new keyword. New, which means new just replace now this in the heap eventually, means this is not dynamic memory allocation. Student, it takes in the value of, let's say, 15. Awesome. So basically now what's happening here, okay, if you don't know what is a new keyword, guys, I'll have an upcoming video about now the new and delete keyword in C++ eventually. We'll go much more detail about like how to use these things. So the new keyword right now just eventually gives you the ability to define based on the constructor this pointer, like basically in like dynamic memory allocation, which means this pointer variable here will declare will receive a value of 15 type integer, being stored as point in this PTR, but eventually needs to be deleted after, because now the new and delete keyword works hand in hand. So after we specify the new student constructor taking a value of 15, we have to also eventually after this, I just want to say cout just to see what's the value. Let's say value. Okay, PTR. So after you have to also use something called the arrow operator. So in an arrow operator, you have to use this to signify the arrow operator and get this value. So in our you can also have like a video about what is the arrow operator by definition, because the arrow operator has also been used mostly in with like it's been used when you define like variables being defined in a class scope or in a structure scope. So now the arrow operator becomes much more useful, because the arrow operator now just gets the pointer member or variable being defined now in the class scope. So after this, let's also declare now the delete keyword, so we can free the memory being allocated for this PTR pointer. PTR. So eventually what's going to happen here, we're going to try to now deallocate the memory, which means right now here we are dynamically, like now here, allocating the memory, which means we allocate the memory. Now in this here, the delete keyword, we're just trying to deallocate the memory, so it can be used by other variables and stuff. So after this, let's just run a program to see if there's any errors. Control should be to compile a program to see if there's any errors eventually in your program. Awesome. So after this, let's run this. Awesome. As you can see, the value of now of the pointer is going to be 15 by definition, as you can see here. Awesome. So eventually what we did here, we just defined eventually now in the class scope here of student an int value, and also like two constructors, a default constructor and a value, like it's almost like a value returning constructor, which means it's like it takes a parameter of int v and also initializing now this eventually by definition in this constructor here. So afterwards in the main function here, we have like also now we just declaring a user defined data type of PTR pointer as an object that eventually now was going to be declared like a dynamic memory allocation based on this new keyword here. We dynamically allocate this memory here, and the value is going to be stored now in the PTR. It's a form of a pointer will be of 15. So afterwards now using the cout statement to see like what is the value being stored in there, using also now the arrow operator as a means of getting all that variable or member being defined now in the student class scope on top here. So based on that, then you have to use the delete keyword now to delete the memory being stored in here, which means you have to free the memory now just by deleting it. Because remember, this memory being now defined or declared in a heap, which means not in a stack, because now the heap will declare the memory now dynamically. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. So like I mentioned before, I'm gonna make the upcoming videos about now the delete and new keyword, like what they are in C++, how they can be used more, like much more clearly, and also eventually now the arrow operator also has been used also here, like what is the arrow operator by definition and how it's being used. So if you have any questions, comment down below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video also, and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you.